The Mycenaean civilization stands as one of the most fascinating and influential cultures of the ancient world, leaving a profound legacy that shaped the course of Greek history and, by extension, the development of Western civilization. Emerging in the Late Bronze Age, around 1600 BCE, and flourishing until approximately 1100 BCE, the Mycenaeans inhabited the Greek mainland and several nearby islands. Their civilization is named after the city of Mycenae, one of their most prominent centers, but their influence extended much further, encompassing other major sites such as Tiryns, Pylos, Thebes, and Athens. The origins of the Mycenaeans can be traced to earlier inhabitants of the Greek peninsula, who gradually adopted and adapted influences from neighboring cultures, particularly the Minoans of Crete. The Minoans, who preceded the Mycenaeans, were renowned for their sophisticated art, architecture, and writing system. Through trade, contact, and perhaps even conquest, the Mycenaeans absorbed many aspects of Minoan culture, including elements of their religious practices, artistic styles, and administrative techniques. However, the Mycenaeans also developed their own distinct identity, marked by a more militaristic and hierarchical society. At the heart of Mycenaean civilization were its impressive citadels, fortified palace complexes perched atop strategic hills. The city of Mycenae itself is legendary for its massive walls, constructed with enormous limestone blocks in a style known as Cyclopean masonry. According to later Greek tradition, these walls were so huge that only the mythical Cyclopes could have built them. The Lion Gate, the main entrance to Mycenae, remains one of the most iconic monuments of Bronze Age Greece, its imposing relief of two lions symbolizing strength and authority. The Mycenaean palaces were not merely royal residences. They were administrative and economic centers that controlled the surrounding territories. The rulers, often referred to as wanaks in the Linear B script, oversaw complex bureaucracies, managed agricultural production, collected taxes, and organized trade. The Linear B script, an early form of Greek writing adapted from the Minoan Linear A, was used primarily for record-keeping. Thousands of clay tablets inscribed with Linear B have survived, providing invaluable insights into the daily life, economy, and governance of the Mycenaean world. Society in Mycenaean Greece was highly stratified. At the top stood the king, supported by a class of nobles, warriors, and officials. Below them were skilled artisans, merchants, and farmers, while at the bottom were laborers and slaves. The Mycenaeans were adept at various crafts, producing finely made pottery, jewelry, weapons, and tools. Their artisans were renowned for their skill in working with gold, as evidenced by the lavish grave goods discovered in royal tombs, including the famous Mask of Agamemnon, a gold funeral mask unearthed at Mycenae. Trade played a vital role in the prosperity of the Mycenaean civilization. The Mycenaeans established extensive networks that reached across the Mediterranean, exchanging goods with Egypt, the Near East, Anatolia, and the Italian peninsula. They exported products such as olive oil, wine, textiles, and metalwork, while importing luxury items like ivory, precious stones, and exotic spices. Their ships, sturdy and capable of long voyages, helped spread Mycenaean influence far beyond the Greek mainland. Religion was an integral part of Mycenaean life, though much of it remains shrouded in mystery. Archaeological evidence suggests the worship of a pantheon of gods and goddesses, many of whom would later appear in the classical Greek pantheon, albeit with different names and attributes. Rituals often took place in palace shrines or at outdoor sanctuaries, and offerings of food, drink, and valuable objects were made to the deities. The Mycenaeans also believed in an afterlife, as indicated by the elaborate burial practices accorded to their elite. The Mycenaean age is perhaps best remembered for its connection to the epic tales immortalized by Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. While these poems were composed centuries after the fall of the Mycenaean civilization, they draw upon memories of a heroic age, populated by legendary figures such as Agamemnon, Achilles, Odysseus, and Helen. Archaeological discoveries at sites like Troy and Mycenae have fueled debates about the historical basis of these stories, suggesting that they may preserve echoes of real events and people. albeit filtered through the lens of myth and legend. The end of the Mycenaean civilization remains one of the great mysteries of ancient history. Around 1200 BCE, the palatial centers were destroyed or abandoned, and the complex social and economic systems collapsed. The reasons for this decline are still debated by scholars. Possible factors include natural disasters such as earthquakes, invasions by foreign peoples, sometimes identified as the Sea Peoples, internal strife, and economic difficulties. Whatever the cause, the aftermath was a period of decline known as the Greek Dark Ages, during which much of the knowledge, art, and technology of the Mycenaean era was lost or forgotten. Yet, the legacy of the Mycenaeans endured. Their myths, language, and cultural achievements laid the foundation for the later flowering of Greek civilization. The stories of Mycenaean heroes inspired generations of poets, artists, and thinkers, while the architectural and artistic innovations of the Bronze Age continued to influence Greek art and architecture. The revival of writing in the form of the Greek alphabet, centuries after the disappearance of Linear B, helped preserve the memory of the Mycenaean world and its achievements. Archaeological exploration of the Mycenaean civilization began in earnest in the 19th century, most famously with the work of Heinrich Schliemann, who excavated the site of Mycenae and unearthed its royal tombs. Since then, ongoing research has revealed a wealth of information about Mycenaean society, economy, and culture. Excavations at Pylos, Tiryns, Thebes, and other sites have uncovered palaces, workshops, fortifications, and burial grounds, painting a vivid picture of a dynamic and complex civilization. One of the most remarkable aspects of Mycenaean culture is its art and craftsmanship. Frescoes adorned palace walls with scenes of hunting, warfare, and religious ceremonies, rendered in vibrant colors and lively compositions. Pottery ranged from simple utilitarian wares to elaborately decorated vessels featuring geometric patterns, animals, and mythological motifs. Metalworkers produced swords, daggers, and armor of exceptional quality, as well as intricate jewelry and ceremonial objects. The Mycenaeans were also pioneers in engineering and architecture. Their palaces featured advanced features such as drainage systems, storerooms, workshops, and audience halls. The so-called tholos tombs, or beehive-shaped burial chambers, represent a remarkable feat of construction, with their corbelled domes and monumental entrances. The treasury of Atreus at Mycenae is one of the largest and best-preserved examples of this type of tomb, its grandeur reflecting the wealth and power of the ruling elite. In addition to their material achievements, the Mycenaeans made significant contributions to the development of Greek language and literature. The Linear B tablets provide the earliest known examples of written Greek, offering a glimpse into the administrative workings of the palaces and the concerns of their rulers. Names of gods, places, and people recorded in these texts would reappear in later Greek mythology and history, underscoring the continuity between the Mycenaean and classical worlds. The Mycenaean period was also a time of conflict and competition, both within Greece and with neighboring regions. Warfare was a central aspect of Mycenaean society, as evidenced by the fortified citadels, weapons, and depictions of battle in art. The reasons for conflict ranged from the control of resources and trade routes to dynastic rivalries and territorial expansion. The legendary Trojan War, whether historical or mythological, reflects the importance of warfare in the Mycenaean imagination and its enduring impact on Greek culture. Despite their achievements, the Mycenaeans were ultimately unable to withstand the challenges that beset their world. The collapse of the palatial centers marked the end of an era, but it also set the stage for new developments in Greek history. As communities reorganized and adapted to changing circumstances, they laid the groundwork for the rise of the city-states, or poleis, that would define the classical age of Greece. In summary, the Mycenaean civilization was a vibrant and influential culture that dominated the Greek mainland during the Late Bronze Age. Its achievements in architecture, art, administration, and trade set new standards for the ancient world, while its myths and legends continue to captivate our imagination. Though the civilization ultimately fell, its legacy lived on, shaping the course of Greek and Western history for centuries to come. The story of the Mycenaeans is a testament to the enduring power of human creativity, ambition, and resilience in the face of change and adversity.